Hey guys, and welcome to our review for Joker, directed by Todd Phillips, starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, is he in this movie?
As Arthur Fleck,
Thy goat.
aka Call Me Joker. As well,
Call me by your name.
Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, and Francis Conroy star as well. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Phil Clark.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, back from
Don't
TIFF.
know if you guys think it's great that I'm back, but I'm glad I'm here.
I'm happy
Well-
me and Scott are back.
We're back. The team's back. Also joining us is Adam Franey.
You said it. A few TIFF reviews. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
Had a good TIFF.
Keep your
Brief
thumbs up.
hiatus, but we're back, baby.
13 films, if I remember correctly. So we got some reviews coming up.
It's a day of movies.
But Joker.
Joker.
Joker's a film we saw. Todd Phillips introduced the film. Did a
TP.
quick Q&A afterwards as well, so that's always nice to hear from the filmmaker himself. Phil, let's start with you.
Do we need a synopsis?
I mean, you can give us a synopsis if you want.
Philnopsis? You got one?
No, I
bud?
pulled it right off the internet. As we started, I was like,
Give us a synopsis and then give us your thoughts. How about
We
that?
need Tim back.
Failed comedian Arthur
Failed
Arthur-
synopsis.
Arthur Fleck
Fleck.
encounters violent thugs while wandering the streets of Gotham City dressed as a clown. Disregarded by society, Fleck begins a slow descent into the madness as he transforms into the criminal mastermind known as the Joker.
Criminal mastermind. That's an interesting term
That-
used there. Very liberal, I would say, in the context of the film.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
other terms being used to describe him.
A lot of controversy about this
A
film.
lot of
So-
controversy about this
But
film.
what do you
So-
think about it?
Let me just
You've had a little bit of time to sort of
digest.
Yeah.
Think about it. I'll wait in. I love this film. This film, before let's put the controversy, all that aside for now. Let me just talk about the
Objectively.
film. The movie I saw. Does it look fantastic? Yes, it does. I thought it looked great, in my opinion.
You're right. Allow me to
The
write.
setting not only looked great, I also felt immersed in the world. I didn't feel like I was stepping back. It felt like I stepped into Arthur Fleck's life. I thought Joaquin was fantastic.
Did you?
I think that's probably an understatement, if anything. He
An
was
understatement.
very grounded. I liked that this Joker was such a more... If Heath Ledger was like a grounded version of the Joker in his final form, I think Arthur Fleck and Joaquin and Todd Phillips did a great job of making him, like, that descent seem like as grounded as it could be for a psychotic villain, because that's what the Joker really is at the end of the day. He was like a psychotic villain. And I thought they did a great job at, like, taking that psychosis and, like, kind of bringing it into, like, the not the real world, but a much more approachable human characteristic, I guess, if that makes
Right.
any sense. I really liked that throughout the film, that he wasn't just, like...
They humanized him.
Yeah, they really did, like, make him seem like a man who had struggles and issues, and that he felt disregarded. Now, all the controversy aside, I liked that they did that. Like, you felt at some points empathy for Arthur and his situation. Now, that doesn't always happen throughout the film. There's points where even Todd Phillips talked about, like, the jumping off point for everyone of this character.
Yeah.
But I think that there's moments in this film where you're like, oh shit, like, that sucks. Like, I feel bad for Arthur Fleck. I feel bad that this is his world.
Yeah.
This movie is funny. In a lot of places I was not expecting to laugh.
Funny.
There are some funny moments.
Jokes.
Jokes,
Like a
you might
clown?
say.
Funny?
Funny how? Like a
The
clown?
beginning is much more funny than the end, obviously. But
It devolves to a certain point.
the whole, like, job of him
Sound like a
being
Chad.
a clown, like an advertising clown, and him in the hospital. We can get into it later, but, like, there's some stuff that happens where you're like, that I thought was, like, very funny. I liked the, like, I kind of figured it was going to be, like, a movie where it starts here and we just kind of go on this ride downhill, and I was prepared for that, but I don't know, I really enjoyed that ride downhill. I don't empathize with him at the end of the movie, which I don't think was the point, but just that whole descent process, I loved it. I was thoroughly enamored with it. That's my 2 cents. I don't know.
Right on.
Maybe I'm fucked.
Adam, let's jump over to you. What are your thoughts about Joker?
This guy's fucked. No. I would have to strongly agree with Philip here.
Interesting.
Not to be confused with Todd Phillips.
No, singular.
Yeah, I loved Joker, the character, the film.
Film.
Todd Phillips has ascended from Hangover 2 and 3 and War Dogs and delivered us just a game changer for the comic book genre. Yeah, I thought Joaquin was incredible, which is no surprise. He's one of the best actors alive. I thought that it looked quite, I don't know if beautiful's the word, but it looked perfect for a Joker movie. Like, it looked dirty
Grimy.
and nasty. Yeah.
They really
Grimy.
added to it. They had in the film, there was this ongoing like garbage strike, which just really added to the level of grime. Right, this is a lot of garbage everywhere.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips was like, "Can we get one more bag of garbage on that street side, please?" Like, that's perfect.
And it seemed like there was a continual like kind of like greenish hue, like kind
Very
of like
green.
Not sepia,
Yeah.
but like just that hue.
Oh,
the color grading. It just made it seem really, really grimy.
And everything, like all the grays were just like muted. Like I remember him like walking up to the Arkham Asylum to interject here, and it was just like so
Just
gray,
washed out,
like
gray.
gross,
dirty, rainy,
cold. You were like, ugh, it's like I don't want to be there. And it's an asylum. Yikes.
I love the title card font, that like yellow just like blazed across the screen, Joker. It just felt, and no DC logo. I don't know if we talked about that. Didn't open with your DC logo. Like, it felt like exactly what they're going for. It felt like a 70s gritty grime drama thriller. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it's getting awards buzz. I don't know. I basically agree with everything you said. You hit it out of the park, bud. I just hope DC like follows this trend, and we can kind of put the Justice League universe to bed.
Do you think this is the best DC movie?
Period.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Since Dark Knight trilogy, or including?
Since then, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I do, definitely. Yeah. I don't know if it's like Todd Phillips mentioned when we saw it to us personally by name. Scott, Phil, Adam, this is for you. Thanks, Todd. TP.
Toddy.
That he pitched his DC Black alternative label to Warner Brothers. So like, I don't know if this counts as part one of that.
He said he pitched like 3 or 4 different ideas.
Yeah.
And Joker was one of them.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if this film does well financially, which is on track to do 80-something million
Yeah.
opening weekend, which is pretty
Wow.
crazy for a film, like not a big blockbuster type. Like, this is a pretty grounded drama, right?
We've been
Basically.
talking about it. Imagine like any other name other than Joker. Like, if this didn't have the Joker IP, like, imagine this type of movie doing that insane business.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't, ever. Well, you were never really here. Joaquin Phoenix, like, similar, right?
Completely.
Virtually unseen.
We'll talk about it near the end, but we had some. I think we were talking about it after we saw the film, about different ideas and how they might approach this DC Black universe with
Crossover
different characters
potential.
and stuff. But yeah, so overall, you loved
Loved it. I can't. My only like nitpick as to why I can't say that it's like perfect or that it completely blew me away, like 5-star movie, is that it is obviously, and this was intended, they put this on Front Street, but it is kind of just Taxi Driver / King of Comedy. Like,
Right.
it is exactly what I expected it to be.
De Niro's literally in it.
De Niro's, like, the presence of De Niro alone is like triggering King of Comedy. You know,
And he even mentioned it in the Q&A. Someone
Phillips?
asked about influences.
Right.
It might have been what's his name? Cameron Bailey asked
Yes.
about his influences, and he was like, yes, Obviously Taxi Driver, and
he said he
comedy.
grew up in New York too. That was kind of like his like memory.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
So 70s.
Yeah, 70s style, which is like I said, I thought it was really well done. And kind of brought you into that.
Yeah, that's
that
the only.
world.
It's just
It's like the doc
the
for like
derivation of
originality, I guess. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, little derivative of that, but like, no, I can't. That's not like a big enough problem to not like it.
Right on. I'll jump in.
Oh, this guy hated it.
I like this film. I wouldn't say I loved
Get
it.
the fuck out.
I really liked it though. Joaquin was amazing. He'll get nominated for an Oscar guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Hands for sure.
It was
Controversy
yeah.
aside.
Rami Malek won last year. He'll get at least nominated this year.
Yeah.
We don't talk about
That's
that.
the way I can justify that. It does seem like one of those ones that I could see Todd Phillips get nominated, like one of those things. Probably a bunch of the craft Oscars, those ones I could definitely see that.
Screenplay.
Visual effects.
It's just there's so much talk about it right now in the media, just because of all the controversies and all that. And I think any buzz is good buzz for a film in that sense. So I think it's really
That's
really
what they
hyping
say.
this film up. Like everyone's talking about Joker this, Joker that,
Yeah.
and it's only going to help them in their chances of, winning awards. But the film itself, like you guys, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. To be honest, like visuals are amazing. I love a lot of the long shots of like Gotham, like the way they composited the sort of city together. Looked kind of like New York, but then like he was saying in the Q&A, like it looked super dense and it wasn't actually New York City. It was very distinctly not that. But just the visuals were amazing. I liked all of the supporting characters. Everyone was pretty great. De Niro was good, but he was kind of, he wasn't stretching too much.
I think he did a great job, but I don't think he had a lot to do, if that makes sense. Like I think he did his role well.
He was doing his king of comedy, but like he was playing is it Jerry Lewis? He was doing the Jerry Lewis role. But yeah, I think maybe the thing is that the film itself is like, it's like a hero story. It's like the hero arc, but yet everything that he's doing is deplorable, right? It just devolves, and he's doing these horrible things in like the last third of the film, basically. And in any other film, he does something. There's an action, and normally the reaction would be like cheering, and you'd be like happy or excited for the character.
Yeah.
But in that moment where you would normally be like happy or excited, it's like a super despicable thing. So it's this weird feeling for me where I'm like, am I supposed to like this? This is very...
If you're a gamer, perhaps.
I guess. I don't know. It was just... I don't know. I just couldn't get around that. It's just a very weird and different movie.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, like following.
It's like a train wreck. It's like watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
In a good sense, like it's like you're watching this downward spiral, and but yeah, it was kind of weird, I guess, because there was such a packed audience. Like anytime in the film, he has this condition where he will laugh uncontrollably. I think when he feels anxiety or is nervous, and there was a lot of moments in the film where like he would laugh, and I feel like if I was watching it by myself I wouldn't have laughed, but like the audience was like dying laughing, and I'm like, what's going on right now?
Maybe they had the same infliction.
I guess it was a little weird.
I think it was like the water, like the dam breaking, where it's like it is that weird tense scene, and then because someone's laughing, just sets one person off, and then everyone's like,
it's like a nervous laugh. It's like trying to break the tension, right?
Yeah. But I think that was good. I don't think like you could keep that much tension in that movie.
True.
Like when it's not like you could keep like, it's not like, this is gonna sound weird, but it's not like A Quiet Place where they could just keep like ratcheting up the tension. This was kind of like you needed that
a little bit of a break.
You needed a little bit of a breather, and like to like remember that Joker is still funny. And like
it reminded me a lot of
deplorable what he's doing. No one's saying it's not deplorable what he's doing.
I guess another thing that was a little disappointing for me was, and it's kind of, it's not on the film really, but it's like seeing the trailer, it kind of gave a lot away. I'm not gonna lie. Like as the movie was happening, I'm like, okay, how's this scene's gonna tie in? Oh, I can see how this would fit in,
Yeah.
and I was sort of building the film in my head, but as it was happening, and I could sort of see where it was going, and it sort of became a little predictable, I guess, as the film went on. But those are, I still enjoyed the film, but those things kind of ate away at my brain as I'm watching it.
I wanted to say like hats off to DC for having the balls to even do it rated R.
Right.
I'm just, you guys are like triggering the flashbacks now. We're a couple weeks removed, but I'm remembering all the like all the very dark moments that like you could, like Todd Phillips said, like Marvel could never make this movie.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
They couldn't.
Yeah, there's one scene where some of his coworkers come to his apartment, two of them.
Speaking of nervous laughter, awkward laughter.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed in that scene. Yeah. There was like the air came out of the room, and there was a lot of.
You know what
it was a funny moment, but it was it was a funny moment within an absolutely terrible moment.
Like American Psycho.
Moment. Yeah.
I don't know why that movie's not being referenced by Todd Phillips or anyone.
Right.
Maybe it's just a coincidence. But like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, this is American Psycho. It's like a comedy, but it's like
a horrific deplorable acts.
Yeah.
Like, but yet you're laughing for some weird reason. It's like
Christian Bale like hacking Jared Leto. I mean, ironic. Christian Bale, Jared Leto. Him hacking Jared Leto and how amazing that scene is like very comparable to the scene you're referencing.
Right.
The little guy and the big guy.
Yeah.
It was like that, just like completely uncomfortable, but like hilarious, but like so uncomfortable.
And really grabbing, like it's like
you're on bated breath, like every second, like what the fuck am I watching?
I don't know, I think that just kind of fit in with like our concept of like the Joker as like a whole character, like all the graphic novels, all the films, everything. It's like he's this guy who does like who makes funny jokes, but also does like horrifically deplorable things like at the same time. So I think that kind of like that tone like was shown very well in the film, which I would give it props for. Like I know what you're saying, where it's like you're in the theater and you're like nervously laughing because you're like, this isn't funny, but like people are laughing and like it like
it's weird. I'm like, am I supposed to laugh?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Like that's
what is
you're right. That is like the perfect what Joker is.
He's
uncomfortable laughter.
Yeah, it's like, is this funny? Is this horrible? Like, is it both? It was hard to tell.
Yeah,
but I'd give it props for that. I wouldn't knock it.
I agree with you though. Like, I think DC had a lot of balls to do this, and I'm actually really excited for the future of DC.
Haven't said that in
there was some dark age the last couple years, last decade, I guess. I don't know.
Literally the dark age since
the last like 7 years, 7 years, right? It's been
anything after Man of Steel up until Joker. So what was that? 5-6 years. 5-6 movies. I
mean, I like Wonder Woman. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was.
I don't think Wonder Woman's bad, but I don't think I'm like you guys have Wonder.
They've
like,
done it.
That was a one sort of shining light in the middle of that. That was like fine.
Yeah,
spark of hope.
But the rest of it was like a little. It was very Sony, right? But no, I'm excited. I think if this is successful. At the box office, it really opens a lot of doors, lots of different directions they can take this. It's like I know they just did like Swamp Thing on TV, which they canceled really quickly for some dumb reason.
Too good.
But things like that, like R-rated stories of these characters that we all know, but sort of putting a different twist on it. Because I think, and if they're smart enough to realize that they can't be Marvel. Marvel is this giant machine right now that is like the train's left the station. Marvel is just gonna keep on chugging,
full steam ahead.
And
10 years
they're just
ahead.
they're like the Blob or something.
Yeah.
They're just like sucking in. They're just expanding and grabbing everything on the way like a snowball, I guess. And they're not stopping. So I think, DC. It's smart of them to sort of
let's go in a different direction.
Let's focus on something more specific, and just focus on making a great film. Instead of trying to build this big universe.
Weird concept.
Now, what do you guys think?
Should we give our ratings and then we can dive back into it? Or...
Yeah, we can give ratings.
I think we can get more like specific after that. Like we can do the spoiler.
I have a question, but we'll give our ratings and then I'll ask my question.
Sure. Sorry.
I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go 4 to 5.
I'm gonna go heavy 4. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
That was solid.
I gotta go heavy 4. I was thinking maybe 4, but I'm just remembering more we're talking about it. Magnifique. Heavy 4.
Well, my question is, Robert Pattinson had a comment that he was, if I remember correctly, that he was looking forward to working with Joaquin Phoenix. And that got, like, rescinded. And they were talking about how, Todd Phillips was talking about how this film, they sort of went in with the understanding that it was a standalone, that there was just a one-shot, one film deal. Do you guys think, because this is essentially the Joker origin story.
Literally is, yeah.
Do you guys believe that? What do you think? I mean,
what?
the Batman film that they're casting right now is potentially based on, they're saying, The Long Halloween, which the Joker is a part of in the comics.
Really?
So
Did not know that.
I'm curious what your guys' thoughts, if you think they'll continue to use this character.
Shall I?
Do you think they'll bring him back?
Here's what I think. I think 2 things. Okay. I believe that Todd Phillips was told in his pitch meeting and throughout making the movie that by DC that you have carte blanche. You can do whatever you want. Said it in the 80s. Yes, of course. You can do whatever you want, and this is completely standalone, Todd. And when he left the room, they went full Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Fucking. And now that, and I also don't think that I think they only did this movie and gave him carte blanche and did the whole R-rated thing because they didn't think it would be a grand slam.
What it is, yeah.
What it has become, right? Tracking for 80 million, which would be highest debut weekend in October history.
Over Venom, I think.
Over Despicable Fuck. Let's go, Joker, go. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it was... Sorry, you broke my brain. That's fucked up. But I think they were thinking low risk, like high reward.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? We didn't risk anything, right? Maybe no one sees it. Maybe a couple people see it. We make a bit of money back. But now that it's this mega hit, I think they're, like, plotting as we speak. Like, thanks, Todd, for the great movie, but beat it, bud.
You think they're like, oh, we can do another cinematic universe, dark universe.
Sadly, yes, Scott, I do think that. And I think, I'm torn, because I don't want them to rush and force and, like, fuck it up. But I think if handled correctly, it could be done well. I love Robert Pattinson. Great choice for Batman. Obviously, we've seen Joaquin as a great Joker. So on paper, yeah, sure, bring them together. That's great. But I just don't want them to, like, force it. I don't want them
too fast.
Yeah, just do it if you have a plan in place, you know? If you have a Kevin Feige plan of some sort.
They don't.
I know they don't, Scott. But, like, I don't want, like, the trains colliding, like, perfect, Joker, finally got a good movie. Okay, Matt Reeves, start crowbarring, start fucking forcing. We should probably mention that Batman's in the movie.
Spoilers.
Excuse me. Bruce
So,
Wayne.
spoiler warning, I mean...
No, we're in spoiler section, I hope.
If you haven't seen Joker yet,
That's not yet.
You've been warned. Yeah, I think that's the weird part about this whole thing is that the same Batman, right? Or are they just going full, each film is its own universe and going that direction, which is the way Todd Phillips kind of said it was. Like when he said in his conversations with DC and they gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wants, and he's like, well, I want to put Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne in it. And they're like, he was saying that they were kind of like hesitant, but fine, do whatever you want, right? I find that interesting because did he only do it just to add to the Joker storyline? I thought it was odd the way it almost felt a little forced.
I think the 80s was his loophole. Because they were like, fine, you can have kid Bruce Wayne, and then we can still do whatever we want with our present day Batman.
Right.
Like that doesn't handcuff us to anyone because it's a little kid actor, obviously.
And I guess
Right.
if they're like, okay, this is like under the DC logo, then like we don't want to have like two conflicting. Like we want to do something weird in like the new Rob. Not that they would, but I mean, then they're not handcuffed to whatever they did in Joker with Todd Phillips. So
Do you guys believe him that he wasn't forced to include that? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I do.
I don't know. They made it seem like
It's hard
he
to
was the
believe.
one. They made it seem like DC was the one that was hesitant about
Right.
him putting Batman in it.
I could see him not wanting to like spend too much time with Batman, like because I don't think he really wanted to. But I think he was kind of like, this is not like Joaquin plays a random dude who goes and like becomes crazy. This is like Joker. So like I think he was like, we have to kind of at one point go, okay, Bruce Wayne, the Wayne family, tie that in.
Yeah, like that was
somehow,
the only
tangentially.
one of the few elements in the movie that actually made it a DC
Yeah,
Batman universe thing.
yeah.
Otherwise, if they didn't have Thomas Wayne or Wayne Enterprise
Or it wasn't set in Gotham.
or the Arkham
Asylum.
or the Gotham, it could have easily just been New York City, Riker or whatever
Yeah.
islands, and just some
Any asylum.
random
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
So I think they kind of like, I think he kind of did for like the Joker name, if that makes sense, but I don't think he had a plan. And to the earlier question about like, do you think that they'll continue with this? I think you were like, oh, they probably went back and were like, oh, Mr. Burns style, but I think they're going to be like, I think they see all the news and everyone talking about this and they're like, shit, free advertising. Like, this is great. Like, now
Yeah.
we actually have hype. People are excited for this. I think this movie's going to blow up this week. Like, I think it's going to be, like, people are going to go watch this. Because I think there's enough talk about it that people have their own opinions and it's going to get more than a few people curious as to what it is and where they fall on it.
Now,
So
do
it's
you
gonna
guys think that Joaquin Phoenix would actually return?
No, I don't think he would.
That's the thing. Would he return as like a bit cameo type character in a Batman film?
It's hard for me to see him be
Stuff.
like a side, not like a side piece, but like a small role, like reprise a role to just be like in a movie for,
Part of the Rogues Gallery.
yeah. It's hard
That's
for me to
pretty
see.
tough.
Yeah.
You know what's
That's
funny?
the biggest. Seems like the biggest roadblock to me is Joaquin himself.
I keep forgetting that like he does have to consent. They can't just force him to be in the movie.
No.
Unless he signed
Or can
a
they?
multi-film deal.
But I don't think he
Yeah.
would like
I don't think
right
he
off
did,
the
though.
bat be like, yep, I'll sign up for 4 films. Like, because he
That-
was allegedly in for Doctor Strange and was like, nope,
He didn't want to.
not for 3 films.
It's all rumor why he
Yeah,
didn't.
rumored,
but
but
that would probably prove Todd Phillips to be lying if Joaquin signed on for more than one film.
Right.
Obviously, they didn't give him carte blanche on doing the.
I feel like they wouldn't, because it was such a risk.
He probably only agreed because it was a one-film deal.
Right. That would
It
make
could be totally wrong. Obviously, we don't know, but it's pretty hard to believe.
if you think about like the time difference, like if like we mentioned it, it's like okay, he's young Bruce
Kid
Wayne
Batman. Yeah.
in this. Like if we skip
At
forward to
least
Robert
20
Pattinson,
20 years. I would
20
say.
years. Like what does that make Joker? Joker's already like 40 in this movie.
That's
He's gonna be,
another
like,
thing.
Old man Joker. Like you can probably cast.
You could
somebody
do it.
entirely different and
Oh.
make it
Willem Dafoe or
Well, that's
something.
where
something.
you're going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that movie's coming out, The Lighthouse.
Yeah. That actually.
He looks close to Joaquin too.
The college years.
Ghoulish, equally ghoulish.
No, they could age up Joaquin easily.
They could.
Yeah,
But I'm saying
I
like
think,
you could
yeah.
also cast somebody if Joaquin's like, no, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm
And then
done.
there's your classic, was he actually Joker theory, or was he a crazy guy loophole that Todd Phillips mentioned? You guys?
I think someone mentioned that to Todd Phillips, and he was like, "Oh, that's interesting," but I don't think he ever had that.
I don't think he had that
He had
intention.
that. Someone brought that theory to him.
A fellow director that he said he didn't want to use his name.
Right. But was there anything else you guys, maybe specifically any plot stuff? I mean, pretty straightforward. He kind of.
The plot, like I said, that's why it's not a 5. Like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty
Pretty
expected
straightforward.
plot.
I like the whole idea of his relationship with Zazie Beetz' character
Oh,
being just
fuck.
in his,
That was
all in his head.
unbelievable.
Yeah, we can run down just like the heavy hitter moments. Like, that fucked me.
That moment I thought was great when he's like sitting in her apartment and she was like, "Who the fuck are you?" Basically.
I mean, I didn't need I kind of saw it coming a little bit. I didn't
it was a
need the
bit idyllic.
full recount of all their moments and her being invisible. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't need
I'm not a
that.
moron.
Okay, I'm not that brings it back for sure.
Yeah.
If it was just her, just like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like,
That'd be
leaving my
great.
apartment?
Freaking out in
Great.
that apartment.
Your name's Arthur, right?
Yeah. And she's like
Yeah.
nervous. You can tell
Bone
she's
chilling.
Like that was all I needed. I didn't. You're right. I didn't need the flashbacks. That was a bit heavy-handed.
How about him
But think about all the plebs that are going to be watching. this.
Yeah, you're right.
You
All the
gotta
chaps.
hold their hand a little bit, right?
How about him suffocating his mom in the hospital? That was the moment where I was like, Marvel can never
Yeah.
fucking do that.
Yeah. Dark.
That is fucked.
Yeah, and him just killing his.
when he goes back to his
friend.
apartment and like the two people come over and
Oh.
he dusts
That like gorilla
big guy.
rage
Yeah.
head skull bash.
Yeah.
Then he's just like sitting there like covered in blood and this is one of the moments I laugh. Like I know it's dark and terrible, but I had to laugh where the shorter person was trying to open the door, but he had it
Oh
on
my-
top.
That was
And
absurd.
Yeah.
he like
I love
you
that
like
part.
see the shorter person like try to like, do I ask this guy to unlock the door or is he gonna murder me? And like
And him spooking him.
yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
It was like, I feel like Joaquin just like improv that. Like
Yeah.
true madman.
Yeah. That was a great moment. I'm not gonna lie.
And
Very funny.
I don't think we talked about it, but the dancing in this, like I know it was bizarre and
That
wonky,
Harry glitter scene.
but like I don't know. The longer the movie went on, the more I liked it. If that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I
Like
just loved
initially
him
when he's like,
unravel.
I was like, what the fuck?
Unravel.
Is he doing?
He did unravel.
And he's like at the end, he's just smoking a cigarette. I was like, I'm actually fucking with this very hard right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
As the curtains are up, I was like, I don't know. There's just some great shots in this movie too.
I hope he
It's
gets
like,
nominated. You're
I
calling
think he
it?
will.
He better.
I think he
He
will.
better.
Yeah.
he
It's
fucking
one of those
better.
super flashy roles that are just asking for a nomination, right?
Oh, it's begging. For
It's
one.
begging for it.
It's pleading.
Well, I think that'll do it for our review of Joker.
Yeah.
Phil, where can people find you?
Find me on Letterboxd at
Oh.
Wicked Swami.
Alrighty then.
Wicked.
You can find me on Twitter at Franey25 and Instagram and Letterboxd at UprealAdam.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter.
Upreal Late Podcast, Twitter as well.
Mhm.
little bit.
You can find myself on Letterboxd at Upreal Scott as well. If you like this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below if you want to join our discussion as well. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And as always, keep it real.